So we are live now, just a FYI.
Oh, for real? No, I'm playing.
Yeah. We live on YouTube. Now I'm about to go live on the gram.
Okay.
So let some folks come in. Because I don't never be live on no Saturday. I know they're like, what? Well, not on here. All right, so YouTube live. What are we talking about? Affordable housing crisis in Detroit.
Yeah.
In Detroit. This gonna be juicy.
Let's hope. Let's hope. Hope I got some good information.
Yeah, for sure. I don't care about no new iCloud terms, except because it don't matter. Why ain't on Wi-Fi? Not you on Wi-Fi on the phone. Oh, it's
You
making
got
me
the
log
Wi-Fi.
back in. Where phone for ver? I already got a password. I'm a member. All this money I pay here? Excuse me? All right, I'm just going to have to go live without Wi-Fi because the signal here is trash bucket juice.
See, it's the same thing over here.
But the Wi-Fi in the office on point though. It's just the signal in the we about to see. I got 2 bars. Maybe if I be still. You going to the draft?
Yeah, we don't. We have that.
Oh yeah, y'all have an event.
Yeah, we got. I mean, 10 locations for the draft.
These next 2 weeks about to be crazy.
Next 2 weeks, they already crazy.
Yeah, I'm down. My office downtown, and they downtown. A lot of the streets already blocked off. But I know one thing: if you don't know how to parallel park, don't bring your ass downtown for the draft for the show. What up, though, y'all? Oh, that's
What
you,
up?
Ella, talking about some yo.
What up, though?
All right, so let me be still over here because I only got 2 bars. All right, y'all. So what up, though? This is a special edition of What Up, Though Fridays on a Saturday. I got my boy, Mr. Ross Harris. What's crazy is how we met. Apparently, he was already following me, and I didn't even know. But we met through my boy Gerald, which I met at Black Tech Saturdays. What has been like a month and a half, maybe
It's
something
like,
like
yeah, a
that.
month and a half, 2 months almost. Yep.
Yeah, we've been besties ever since. Like we got so much information that we can barter in between of us. We about to be best friends. So
For real.
today's topic is affordable housing crisis coming to Detroit, or is it already here? I've been saying this probably for like the last 6, 7 months. It's not here yet, but it's definitely on the way. It's on standby. Um, yeah, so it's coming. But the first couple church announcements, we got Detroit Real Estate Weekend. Y'all see my background? Yeah. So Detroit Real Estate Weekend is August 1st through August 4th this year. VIP tickets are $2,500. That includes your hotel stay, 3 to 4 meals, because I'm gonna always make sure y'all fed because y'all ain't about to be cranky on me. The tour of Detroit, we're gonna see some properties, a tiny home community, we're gonna see some container homes, and we're gonna do the actual workshop as well. And then afterwards have like a little recap dinner and go over what y'all learned and what questions y'all got. I'm gonna have Ross come as one of my special guests. He just found out about it probably, but
I just found I'm here with it. Let's go.
yeah, and I got a couple of big people coming. The last one we had in 2022, I had the director of the land bank there. We actually got to see some land bank properties that the land bank allowed us to go in because I've had great relationships in Detroit. We saw the tiny home community container house. We saw different properties for sale. We saw the land bank's new program they were testing out then to where they rehab the exterior of the home and partial interior, and then they sell the property that way. So that way it's less cost for you to end buyer to do a rehab, which was actually kind of smart because if they do all the outside, they say you at least $50,000 to $75,000 right there, and now you just go and take the inside and take it from there. So they came on and spoke, which I was grateful for because it's like y'all think I'd be lying about this land bank stuff, and to hear it directly from them, I think it really made a difference. What other church announcement? Oh, Real Estate Fridays is postponed till June because for the April one, that same week is the draft. I know Detroit ain't gonna be there because I ain't gonna be there, so I ain't even mad. And then for the May one, the same weekend, that's Techno Fest / movement. So I'm gonna be there too, and I know Detroit gonna be there too. So we gonna see y'all in June. And June's topic, my business coach, actually, he's coming to speak on how to obtain government contracts. So I can't wait. You know, that's gonna be dope. You got any announcements, Ross?
No announcement at the moment. Yep, no announcements right now. No church
Well,
news.
I guess let's start with the people with who you are, what you do, blah blah blah.
Yes, yes. So my name is Ross Harris. I'm a community organizer. I like to label myself as that. I do other things, but the meat and potatoes of what I do is helping the community get organized. One of my favorite quotes is power is defined as organized people and organized dollars. So I do a little bit of both of those. I help people
Mhm.
come up with a plan for their community development, and then I help them plug into the grant dollars. Where's the money at? And yeah, from there we just try to build. I try to make the infrastructure make sense for our communities.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, so as far as affordable housing go, I'm about to put these links in the comments, y'all, for the water program. So they have a program here called the Water Affordability Program. I've been talking about it since it came out. I think it came out like 22 or 23. And I put the link directly to apply. So with this, let me share my screen. So with this program, it's called the DWSD Lifeline Plan. So your bill will not be more than $56 a month. Used to be 65, so you save about $9. And then it's gonna be between 18 and $56. So they have income requirements, of course. You gotta be low income, be on food stamps, blah blah blah. But if you like me, with your tenants, if they section 8 or low income, you have them get on this program if you have to pay, well not if, with Section 8, you have to pay at least one utility. So I always pay water. I recommend water because water, of course, is going to be the cheapest bill. If you paying electric and gas, you already know they about to have that heat on 82, 85, and the AC going to be on 62, 65, and that bill is going to be high. So we put them on the water program, and then you just pay the bill because technically you still paying it. Now you're paying it at a much, much lower cost. So let's say the average bill on the house was 150. Now you ain't paying but $18 as a landlord. So little FYI. Now, as far as affordable housing in Detroit, I personally think that is a crisis coming because the average rent in the city right now is like $1,500, which to me is crazy. Because
That
I
is
remember just 5 to 10 years ago when that same $1,500 house was going for $800, and it was sitting at 800 for years. Because that's why when the market crashed in Detroit, people was coming here buying Detroit because you couldn't get that nowhere else. You paying 10, 15 grand for a house that needed 10, 15 grand back then, and you still getting 850. So your cap rate was 30, 40, 50, even 60% on some of these properties. Now the downside of what I see coming as far as the crisis is most landlords since COVID do not want to rent to y'all regular tenants. I'm just gonna be honest because COVID really messed that up to where a lot of y'all thought, oh, it's COVID, I'm just not gonna pay, and now y'all going through eviction at this very moment because some people still getting evicted from COVID because the courts were so backed up. I got clients that's dealing with this. So I got one client right now from good old New York. Y'all know I don't really like them, but that's another topic. The tenant husband all of a sudden like we not leaving till like October. How you gonna tell me when you gonna leave when we agreed between the wife and I that we're gonna be out by like May 1st or something? So I told her I was like, just put them out. How they gonna tell you what they're going to do to your property? I was like, make sure your insurance is on point and go and start that eviction process. And I was like, and this is why people are only going to rent the Section 8 or insert program here, a HUD badge, which is the veteran version of Section 8, or COTS program, or all these other programs in the city, because y'all regular tenants is really messing it up for y'all. So if y'all don't become no homeowner, a lot of y'all about to be homeless. They just
that.
really are, and I don't think they really seeing what's about to happen. What you think?
I mean, yeah. COVID really changed a lot for landlords in the city. Um, at the moment, the city is going through this whole revitalization, gentrification thing. So they really are trying to. A lot of landlords are really been complaining to the city about tenants not leaving their home, about the lack of protection that or landlords have. So a lot of that's about to change,
Mm-hmm.
especially when we look at what happened a couple of years ago with low interest rates of 1% and 2%. A lot of those homes that were being bought by banks. So, they're going to be definitely making sure it's hard to get in there and putting Section 8 tenants in there because it's guaranteed money. We see what happens when you have tenants in there. Unfortunately, people abuse the system. And now we're about to see the repercussions of that because right now, like you said, 3-4 bedroom home on Section 8, you're going to get about $1,600. That's guaranteed.
Hold on, that's more than that. Let's go and pull that up.
17? Pull it up.
So can I share my PDF file without?
Let's see, Section 8.
Let me see, present. I already got it downloaded. Every January 1st, they upload it. Now, I was undercharged until one of my good old Instagram files was like, no, it's more than that. I was on the 2021 rates. They was like, it go up every October. I was like, excuse me, I'm in 2023 and my list is 2021. Your computer. Let's see, add file. Let's see. Yeah, it's more than that.
Let me see.
So, quick look. All right, here we go. I found it because I got this on my desktop.
Oh, you was ready.
Always. So, can y'all? I don't know if they can see it.
See it? Well, I can't see. There you
There
go.
you go. All right. So, can I scroll down? All right. So, Wayne County, 01234. A 4-bedroom goes up to $1,890. For Big Orange, I'm getting $1,850. But also, my finishes was out cold. Now, I really wanted $2,000. But I was like, I'm not going to be greedy. It's only $150 because guess what I could do next year? Raise the motherfucking rent. See?
Mm-hmm.
So a 3-bedroom is going for $1,754. That's the max. So that means you got to do appliances because the more you provide, the more you can get.
Yeah.
So I got some of my clients, they do full appliance, wash and dryer, everything. I was like, I'm not doing all that, but I'll give you a fridge, a stove, and a microwave. And a dishwasher if it's space in there.
Yeah, I would do a dishwasher.
The only thing with dishwashers is you got to make sure whoever installed it do it right. Because if it leaks, that's damage to your floors, stuff like that. So it depends on where my house at if I'm going to put a dishwasher in. Like Big Red, I'm going to put a dishwasher in there because of where it's at. Big Orange got a dishwasher because that was supposed to be a flip that didn't sell. So I end up renting it. So whatever. It's all good. Mm-hmm. I also put in electric stoves. I don't do gas stoves. And I just started doing this last year because I'm like, you know what? If a fire happened with electric stove, you forget to turn my stove off. Ain't nothing gonna really happen, but that stove gonna be hot. You might burn your hand. But a gas stove, that flame, something, the wind blow the wrong way, it's a wrap.
Catch something on fire.
Yeah, it's a wrap. So I just started doing electric. Plus, electric stoves are cheaper. You gotta make sure you got your 220 line. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but a lot of places, a lot of these corporate investors, this is the route they're gonna go. They're gonna go Section 8. This makes more sense.
You know what else they're doing? They building brand new rental communities. I've been seeing they doing that in Georgia, and I forgot what other state. I think Texas.
So that's gonna happen here soon. If most people pay attention to a lot of the development in the city, right? Most of it's been happening downtown, midtown, those key Woodbridge area. But they're getting ready to start coming in more in the neighborhoods because it's a lot more grants available for developing neighborhoods, developing communities. And also the land bank is almost done knocking down a lot of homes. Yep. So their next phase is building out communities. They got too much land. And I've been telling people like, hey, you better grab this land because you can eventually you can sell it after I think it's 5 years. You can sell the land for development or build a house on it.
Yeah, I was telling people that 2 years ago because I used to do estimates for the land bank, and I started paying attention. Like the rehab's $250,000-$300,000 that they doing, and they selling for just about that. in most of the neighborhoods now, because now they over in Island View. They own Townsend, they own Burns, they own Bill, they all over there. And I got a property over there. And I was like, let's watch these comps. So I noticed that the land, so eventually every house in Detroit will either be rehab or torn down. So
Yeah.
that's why I've been learning different ways to build faster construction, like modular homes,
Yeah.
container homes, because it's coming. It
It's
might
coming. They
not be
just
here
didn't
yet,
want
but
to.
it's coming because it get too it's cold here. So we only can build technically from April to October or November if you're lucky.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can build in the winter, but it costs you more. It costs you more. Your concrete, you got to pay more money for it because you got to buy certain types of concrete so it won't freeze. And then you still got to heat that concrete so ain't nothing guaranteed.
Yep. And on top of
So,
that, they didn't want to build previously because there was too many abandoned homes. So
yeah,
to not have all these homes that needed to be knocked down, just up, and then you start building more homes, it was a bad PR move for the mayor. So now that he has hit a lot of his goals, the next phase of that development is to start building homes. That's why they were trying to pass that tax ordinance earlier this year,
mhm.
where they were going to supposedly, or well, not supposedly, they were going to cut homeowners tax rate, and then they were going to raise the tax rate on vacant homes and vacant land unless you had an urban farm. So what that did is that gives incentives to a lot of developers, and now they've been sitting on this land, sitting on these abandoned homes, to now, okay, now it's cheaper to start doing a development because your tax rate is going to go down. So
That
it's
makes sense. That's
the
probably why they
writing is on
messing
the
with me.
wall. What's that?
That's probably why they messing with me because of where my property's at. Both of my
Yeah.
properties in Island View, and I've been
Yep.
sitting on them. But one Parker, I want to sell unless we can make it do what it do for that one. But I drove over there the other day, and they done started rehabbing on my part of Parker now. Because at first it was just Kercheval and Parker because they just put that big apartment building there. Then the next block, now they're in my block. I'm in the fourth block. I'm for the fourth block off of Kercheval. So now
Mhm.
they rehabbing over there, and I'm like, And on my block, it ain't. It might be 7 houses. The rest of that is lots.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be on jam. I have a property over on Warren and Livernois Midwest Tireman area, right before you get to Southwest, which is the entry of the Greenway.
Yep.
And every other block. Now, keep in mind, I think maybe 2 to 3 years ago, they had houses. One was going right down the street from my house for $3,500. Like person moved in it, and the next day they had the lights on. So I know it didn't need a lot of work. Probably was just a
Yeah.
little old, outdated, but $3,500 for this home. These homes are being bought up in droves, and now what they're doing, most of them are bungalows. What people are doing is they're cutting off
The
the roofs
bungalow.
of them, and then
Yep.
they build in the second edition. So
Yep.
whenever you go over there, all you see is these homes that are actually getting built up, and that's one of
You know
the
where else they doing that at? Virginia Park.
yeah. Hey, I seen
They
them over
started
there.
doing that a couple years ago when I was rehabbing. I started noticing it like probably 2018.
Okay.
But see, my for the Greenway, I'm not buying no houses. I'm buying lots. All like this tax auction, I'm specifically buying lots.
That's what I tell people. If you don't have the money to do the rehab, at least buy the lots, buy the land. Because eventually, like I said, they're going to start building, right? So if you
Mhm.
own some land, eventually you're going to have investors going to come and try to buy your property, buy your land. I knew
Or
some,
keep your
or
land and do a 99-year lease on your land.
ooh, you could do that. You definitely
And
could
that
do
way you
that.
still getting money.
Yeah. Yeah. I know somebody that bought some land over off of Gratiot. I can't think of what the street name was. Um, but they bought some land for like a little side lot for $20,000 from the land bank. I didn't even know the land bank had side lots for $20,000.
I thought
But
they was
because
all 100 to 250.
no, not when they're in what they call a prime marketable location. So
Of
that just lets
course.
you know what's going to happen to the rest of the city once they start getting that development. Even the lots are going to go.
Yeah, because they ain't making no more land. You
No
know what
land,
else
ain't no more
I
land.
plan on doing this year? Getting my demo license so I can tear down houses. Cause it's gonna be cheaper for me to tear down in house than me subbing it out. Cause a
Yeah,
lot of my subs know how to tear down. They've torn down, they just not licensed. And I'm like, you know what? Let me go take this test.
Yeah, why not? Get it. Might get that
Yeah.
lead abatement too.
Oh, I got lead baby. I had that for probably 10 years. I just don't use it.
We need to talk.
Only reason I don't use it because like the insurance on lead certifying your company, Jesus Christ, that insurance ain't no joke. But I got my house now. I don't really want to do abatement because that's just putting lipstick on the pig. I
Hmm.
want to if I do it, I want to do it really the right way, which is to gut the house. 'Cause that's the only way you're going to get rid of lead is to gut it.
You're gonna be able to get rid of it. Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta take
and
it
they
out.
don't. I don't know if they really want to pay for that.
I think they do. The lead, from my understanding, the lead abatement, they pretty much gut it and replace it with
Yeah,
all new stuff. Yeah.
yeah. I want to gut to the studs. Take all this shit out. Take all these old cast iron pipes out because they full of lead. All them galvanized pipe that's full of lead. Put siding on them garages or tear them down. Well, no, you don't really
Hmm.
want to tear it down because that's going to decrease your value, but something.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, but this thing's been in the works for a minute. Back in 2012, the city came out with a planning book called the Detroit Future City 50-year plan. And I
I was
tell
in that meeting.
everybody, you was in that meeting, you got that book. I tell everybody, get that book. That will let you know
What's the name of
exactly
it again? I'm about to
Detroit
Google
50 city, fifth
Detroit
Detroit
Future City.
Future City 2012 to 2062. So it's a pretty thick book, but it shows all the development, all what they're trying to do with like greening the freeways, removing 375, all the development that's been going on since 2012 up until now is in that book. And if you
Ooh.
go to 2024, you can see exactly, you can compare what's going on in reality and what they put in that book. And they're like right on par. Some things may not be exact, but if you look at it, it's still going on a trajectory. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is a for real thing. Like, this is a for real plan. And now most recently, our credit rating just changed, right? Our
Detroit
bond
got good credit now, baby. We can
got
go
good
get
credit,
whatever we
baby.
want.
We once you get good credit, it's on and
It's
popping.
a wrap.
Right. So all the major investors are definitely going to come to Detroit because there's very few places in this country where you can get property as cheap as you can get in Detroit. It's non-existent.
And we got some of the best houses in the country as far as brick. I'll put a Detroit brick house up against anybody's.
I would too.
Anybody.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got a waterfront. We got an international waterfront. We got
National.
international borders. We got one of the busiest ports in America, if not the world.
And then we
When
get a new
that
bridge for our border too.
when that new bridge get done, that's more money. The Detroit, I went to the Detroit Future City meeting back in '08 because I was an usher. So I used to work on the highway as a highway engineer, and the firm I worked for, she presented the road plan at that meeting. She's like, "Hey, I need your help. Just help pass out flyers." I'm like, "All right, whatever, cool." But in 2011, when I started getting in real estate, I remembered that meeting, and then that's how I really took off, and I was able to tell, "Hey, buy here, buy here." If you look at any of my old YouTube videos, everything that's happening now, I talked about then. Everything. The people who listen to me then for the North End, especially, they is
Mhm.
up and stuck. The
Mhm.
only difference was I was on a super fixed income back then. So that's how I started wholesaling. If I could have kept
I like how you said
maybe
super fixed.
super fixed. If I could have kept 20% of the houses I wholesaled back then, I would probably have a $2 million portfolio all day. All day.
Yeah.
Because the houses I was getting was in Old Redford, so that Telegraph 96 area, that's nice over there. It got its little pockets like Grand River and Telegraph. I had houses over there. I was
Mhm.
wholesaling in the North End all day because I grew up over there, so I knew that neighborhood.
Right.
So if
Right.
I could have kept at least the North End houses, I had $2 million right now. Easy.
Well, you can get it back.
Yeah, we're gonna get it back because they're gonna default on their taxes.
Probably.
I mean, I want to put it in the atmosphere, but if you
Hey, a
live over
lot of
there,
out of town investors be defaulting. I tell people, look, they really be defaulting a lot.
listen, I ride by houses in certain neighborhoods I've been eyeing all the time. If I see that land bank notice on there, oh, I'm watching you.
Yep, most definitely.
Yep.
So just I
But
tell people they just gotta, you gotta be prepared. You gotta stay ready because the housing crisis is coming. If you look on Zillow right now trying to find something to rent, everything is high. Everything is high to buy. Interest rates are high. There's already a housing crisis across the country. So it's inevitable that it's gonna hit here, just based off of what you're seeing.
and you know what
So
else gonna move our housing crisis up? You got these people called climate grants. So I read an article on this back in 2022.
migrants,
Yep. So it's
yeah,
people who moving from California here in droves. Where else they coming from? Vegas, like other places that's really, really hot, or they got really bad weather. Eventually, unfortunately, California might drop off and become an island. Like I seen that on the Weather Channel years ago on that what could happen if like that really could happen. If they have a bad enough earthquake, that boy gonna either be an island or under the water and it's gonna be gone. It's
yeah,
possible. Or they have a bad enough fire, it's just gonna be all this fire land. And it's like the Midwest itself, not just Detroit, is a sweet spot because it's cheaper. It's cheaper
yeah,
here. We got better housing like us, Chicago, Ohio. We got some of the best brick houses across the country. I mean, as long as you can deal with the cold, you smooth. And then you
yeah,
still moving here from Cali. And if you work remote, you still getting your Cali paycheck. So they gonna come here and start paying cash for these houses, which they've been doing, and it's gonna raise the prices up, just like how all those California and New York people going to Atlanta and Houston. That's why they prices through the roof because they coming with cash and they
yeah.
paying if the asking price 20,000. Oh, here's 80. Who you think I'm about to go with?
The
And then on
cash.
the rental side, who you think I'm gonna rent to? Because y'all regular tenants don't want to pay y'all rent. Y'all think y'all could talk to me any kind of way. You think you gonna tell me when you're gonna pay rent? Listen here, buddy. Rent is late on the 5th. On the, I think after the 10th, I serve you an eviction notice. We're starting the process.
Point,
Oh, I
point.
forgot. Well, I didn't forget to send you this notice. And the first time they're late, you gotta send that notice because they gotta know you're not the one to play with.
Yeah.
Like, I got a tenant right now. I managed for one of my clients. I actually sold this house probably 7, 8 years ago, and I'm still managing it for them. They ain't paid since January, and I'm like, so what you gonna do? So I already done told them like, hey, you about to get evicted. So they done paid January, February, March, but April late. So I'm like, what you gonna do, bro? Go and put them out and put a regular cause they regular tenant, put a section 8 one in there and go on about your day.
Mhm.
Cause you done been too nice, at least too nice for my liking.
I mean, that's a long time. That's a
That's
long
a
time. At least they
long
caught it up
time.
though. They caught up to April. I mean, they late now, but
But they only caught up because I just texted them the other day, like, hey, I'm about to send you an eviction notice because this is ridiculous. And then
yeah.
all of a sudden, here come all the rent money with the late fee. So you got the money.
Yeah, that's that's the climate we in right now.
People tripping. I'm like, And people
Yeah,
like,
we
well, the
also have to
rent in
think about
Detroit high.
too.
Our rent ain't nothing compared to everywhere else.
I mean, it isn't not yet. It's starting to get there. It's starting to really catch up with the rest of the country. I would say I see it creeping up.
Yeah.
Um, and I also see too, I know you talked about the climate migrants that are going to probably be trickling in the next 10 years. But what we have right now is honestly the our immigrant brothers and sisters from the south of the border. Because one of the things that happened earlier this year is Chicago,
New
um,
York.
Detroit, New York, there was all talking about being refugee or safe havens for migrants or immigrants, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Texas was like, oh, because it's all about Democrats and Republicans. So most of the northern cities, Democrat ran, right? So the Republicans got this great idea, was like, oh, so y'all say y'all gonna be a safe haven? All right, cool. We're gonna put them all on buses and then send them up there. So what they've
Mm-hmm.
been doing is they started sending immigrants up to Chicago, dropping them off, sending them up to Detroit, dropping them off. But what a lot of people don't realize is these people also still have family in these cities as well that may have already been here for a minute, especially here in
Mm-hmm.
Detroit because we got Southwest Detroit, which has a large Hispanic population. Well, if you know
Yep.
anything about Southwest Detroit, they're already going through their gentrification phase. So a lot
Been
of those
going
families,
through it.
right, a lot of those families that's been there, they're starting to rent their homes out to suburban kids that's, coming to the city for 1,700, 1,800. I saw a rent for 2,500 for this rental, right? So now those people who were kind of, middle class, lower middle class, they're starting to get higher, and they're leaving those homes and then buying them in other areas of the city. And then, like I said, building that second edition and then adding their relatives in there too. But the relatives ain't just coming here and living, they're working, so they getting money, and they also buying properties too after they live in the
And they
house.
using their free government money starting businesses.
Yeah, I don't know too much about. I hear it, but I don't know too much about.
I don't know if it hit Detroit yet, but I seen an
Yeah,
article on Instagram today about it. And so this another thing that's about to mess up the affordable housing in Detroit. So when the Ukraine stuff happened, the city was offering up to 3 times per month rent for you to rent to these Ukraine refugees if you had a house in Bangaltown. What's that other little neighborhood right outside of Pole Town? Pole Town and Bangaltown. If you had
it's
properties
the same
over there,
town.
huh?
That's the same. That's Hamtramck. Pole Town
Yeah,
and Bagel Town
basically
the same.
Hamtramck. And then you
Yep.
got the little neighborhood outside of Eastern Market. That's part of that too. Like Shane and Mac,
Okay.
all that little pocket. So right there, right? And then they was paying up to 3 times the month rent for you to rent to them. So who you think I'm gonna rent to? And you paying me up to 2 years rent up front times three? I'm renting to them. And people not looking at that too. And the same thing gonna happen with these other immigrant people or illegal immigrants or whatever we naming them. Well, I guess a lot of them is illegal because they said a lot of them just coming over the border and they ain't doing nothing about it.
Yeah, that's what they saying.
That's what they saying, or at least the videos I've been seeing in Texas. But people got to look at that too. If you do not own in the city of Detroit in the next 5 years, I really think you're going to be homeless. Because us landlords is only going to rent to the guaranteed stuff. I'm not about to rent to you and then you mess my house up, or even if you do mess it up, I ain't at least get no rent to fix it back up.
Yeah, I think probably what's gonna. Yeah, I think that too. I think what's gonna happen is it's gonna be a transition from regular tenant, the population in Detroit now, to Section 8, and then it's going to change from Section 8 to when you start getting your money together, that landlord, then they're probably going to start renting out to, people that got way more money, like you said, the climate refugees, people who do remote, because right now the concentrated wealth of gentrification is downtown. But that's been
Mm-hmm.
going on for 10 plus years right now. So a lot of those people that move downtown, they move straight out of college, right? They got jobs at Quicken Loans or, whatever Dan Gilbert decided to take over. And they were making 70 plus, especially if you was a loan officer, you was making 100,000 easy,
Before
100,000 plus
bonuses.
before bonuses, right? But a lot of
Mm-hmm.
those people are now starting to enter their 30s or they're getting their late 30s, which means they're
They
starting to have
families, they
families.
get married.
Right. So you ain't gonna find nothing downtown that's 3 and 4 bedrooms that you can afford too, because anything downtown that's 3 and 4 bedrooms, 3,500 and up all day.
Oh, facts.
Right.
You in the penthouse.
You in a penthouse, right? The other area that had those type of big homes, Boston Edison. Boston Edison is bought up too. You're not gonna find nothing there for less than 300, 400,000. So
Yep.
these families that really have the income that are pretty much transitioning out of downtown, they got to have somewhere to go. So they're
But you
going to
know where
be
those
going
people
into
going who can't
communities.
afford Boston Edison though? They going to LaSalle Gardens, which about to be took over because Henry
Going to
Ford
be took
Hospital
over.
is
Yeah,
doing their thing over there. You got
yeah.
Virginia Park, the number streets, that whole little pocket that's the
That's going to
hood
be taken
gone.
over.
Have you been to the congregation, that church they turned into a damn deli?
So I'm gonna give you some information about the congregation. So I used to have a house on Longfellow and 14th, which is in Boston Edison.
Right.
Okay. I got my house for $7,000 at the time. It was 3,700 square feet home. Right.
Yes.
$7,000. It was back in 2010. Now I sold it, and the person that I sold it to, they just recently put it on the market for 375.
Would
So
they
that just
put in
lets you know.
about 150, 200?
No, they only put in about 60,000. They didn't put that much into
Oh yeah,
it.
because when you bought it, they went all tore up then.
No, I wouldn't throw up. No, and I made a nice little penny off of it.
Okay.
Little penny. But that church, that congregation, the building called the congregation, which is like a coffee shop, a bar. They had disco nights on Thursdays.
I'm
That
going.
building was $100,000. I looked at it back in 2016, and that building was $100,000. And I wish I would. I wish I was just a little liquid at the time, and I could have
Yeah.
got it. But that used to be Rosa Parks Church,
Hmm.
and
I
I have
love
a
that they
problem
left
with
those
the
original
congregation.
organ and stuff in there. The
I got a
pipes.
problem with them because they don't have nothing. That's where the '67 riots started, and they have nothing to depict the civil rights movement in that building whatsoever.
You want to know why they don't? Because they
I
don't
know
look
why
like us.
I know why they don't, and
That's
they want to
exactly why.
remind people who moving over there that this is where it jumped off at, y'all.
Definitely, that whole neighborhood where it popped off at.
That's where it popped off at. But yeah,
They
that building right there let me know that they was there to stay because there was nothing else in Boston Edison. It was just homes. There was nothing to go walking to. The closest store you had was a gas station and liquor store. So they needed something for the people who moved in there to be able to frequent. And now when you go to the congregation, it's on jam.
Listen,
So I
don't
think
go on a
maybe
nice
one
summer
of those
day.
places,
They out there with the picnic tables, with
picnic dogs,
little dog
all
and
of
cat and everything.
all of it. And then so the next place I think right outside that area is going to be the Dexter Linwood area
Oh, you
because it's
late.
right outside. Hmm?
You late.
They still it's still some duplexes over there you can get.
They is, but they ain't like they was. Listen, I
I
did
ain't like they was, but
a house back in 2015, and this how I knew Dexter Linwood was about to pop. I did a house for two white women. They sisters. They from Cali. One moved here. She bought the house from the land bank, maybe 2 grand. I forgot the street, starting with a C, but over there. And I was like, "Do you know where you at? Do you know we just did all the mechanical because they come from a construction family. They fixed up
mhm,
one room, stayed in that one room, and fixed up their house as they went. We just did the mechanicals to get the land bank off their back. We won't
that's
do
how,
that." And another thing I noticed Detroiters used to do, even my own family growing up, we was killing them 2 family flats with 2, 3 generations. It need to go back to that.
well that's a whole nother conversation.
That's really the only way we really gonna start back owning in Detroit like we need to. We need to do like everybody else or like we used to in commingle. I did a house on Virginia Park. The house next door sold for like 340 or something. This was like 2020 or 2021. It was five. It was a 5 bedroom, 4 bath, and it's 5 people living in there. They not related. They all friends. Of course, they don't look like us. One person got the mortgage, and everybody helped pay.
Yep.
Genius.
Yep. I
We need to
mean,
do that.
that's all. Yeah, that goes back to a whole nother sociology type of conversation with us as a group of people. I got some Latino neighbors, and I can't tell you how many people live in that house. Like
Listen,
it's
with one
about
bathroom.
look, it's about 8 people that live in that house, and everybody be grind. I can tell everybody is grinding.
Listen,
Everybody
I
is
remember
hustling
doing
in that
a
house.
house like that. It was one bathroom. They had porta potties. Like
Yeah,
the
that's
one
wild.
that the porta potty that's actually the toilet with the little shower.
Yeah.
They'll have that in the backyard. Or they'll have a trailer. I did one house for somebody on the north end some years ago. They was a couple, didn't look like us. No, I think the husband was black, the wife was white or whatever, right? We fixed this house up. They had the lot next to it. They lived in a double wide. The one that you attach to like the back of a
Yeah,
two F-250 or something. They lived in there until we rehabbed that house and then moved in the house.
I
I was
believe
like,
it.
damn, this smart.
I believe it. It's just a different type of hustle, you know? I mean, we need to get back to that, like you said, but that's a right now you have a lot of people, like even to this day. I talked to a couple people from Southfield, and they probably were in their 40s and 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they're like, yeah, I love Southfield. I would never move back to the city. And I'm like, well, you see everything that's happened. Yeah, that's what they say. So you still have a lot of people that still have a lot of our people, a lot of black people that still have this misconception of Detroit or based off of previous experiences. They're scared to come back to the city. So they're staying out in the burbs. And I see what's happening because a lot of suburbs are building affordable housing complexes, right? So, but people don't realize there was some articles that came out about 10 years ago that talked about the how expensive to the government it is to run the suburbs, how the road cost takes a lot, how the infrastructure, and how they're seeing that there's being that white flight that happened in the early 60s and late 50s, that they're trying to reverse that mindset because metropolitan cities make more sense for sustainability, makes
Yeah,
more sense
so
for
they
development.
threw all that up. They had to because white. The first riot was what in the 40s because people forget Detroit had two big
Yeah,
race
two
riots.
riots. I think it was, yeah. I
It
think
was
it was
in
in
the
the 40s.
40s. But when that second one happened, they was like, oh no, we getting the hell up out of here. And they threw up. That's why the birds got more frame houses than the city do. Because frame
Mhm.
is faster to build than brick is, but people ain't paying attention. Detroit is an old city. They fixing, you gotta pay attention to what they're fixing. When I was working on the highway, first we was putting in bike lanes. We on Evergreen Retirement. Why are we putting bike lanes over here? Then we started doing the curb and gutters. Okay. Now we cleaning all the sewer drains so the street won't flood. Okay.
For
Now they
replacing lead piping.
replacing all the lead piping. Not even just lead, it's still wood pipes in the city.
Wood pipes, yep.
Because you don't know until they erupt, and it's like, damn, and we pulling it up because I'm on these crews. I'm like, this is wood,
It's the same
300
piping
plus years
from the
old
30s,
wood.
from the 20s and 30s. The same piping. Yeah.
Same piping. So now we're replacing all that. Once all it's science you got to see in your city. Even before we get to the bike lanes, if they're fixing your infrastructure, you need to hold on. Cause they ain't fixing it for you, unfortunately. They fixing it for a reason. We gotta have the infrastructure. Now we updating all the old electrical in the city. We
Yeah.
updating all the plumbing in the city. Now we updating the infrastructure itself to be able to even hold an NFL draft. You know how much behind the scenes stuff had to go on years ago for us to be able to host this damn draft?
Yeah.
Like, people not understanding the construction side of things. It's like all, and I understand why a lot of Detroiters move to the burbs. I get it, especially if you got kids. DPS, I keep telling people when they fix these damn schools, it's over for us.
That's
And
already happening.
I
That's
know it's
already
happening. It's happening, but we don't see it yet. When it's blatantly obvious to everybody else, like, damn, DPS is this. DPS, when they first tore down old cast and built the new cast, that should have been your first red flag. Same for King. Same for McKenzie when they tore it down and built an elementary middle school. Y'all got to pay attention,
So do you know what? So there is no more DPS, right? It's
right?
called Detroit Public School Community District.
Mm-hmm.
So similar to like New York, what's going to happen here is eventually, like my kids right now, they go to a Montessori school
Mm-hmm.
in Detroit Public Community School District. So to even get into their
Wait, back
Montessori
up. What's a
school,
Montessori school for people who don't know?
Montessori school is just a different way of teaching. So it's not so structured. It's like letting the you have a kind of curriculum, but you kind of let the kids flow through things that they feel more interested in. So it's more on like more individualisticness, not so rigid, right?
Okay.
Um, so for their Montessori school, it goes all the way up to eighth grade. For you to even get into that school, you would have to have gone to a Montessori kindergarten or preschool. Most Montessori kindergartens or preschools, you have to pay for. So
Mm-hmm.
they already kind of put a block on everyone else getting into it. But the homes right across the street from this school are going for 600, $500,000. So majority of the kids that are going to my kids' school, because we went to like they had like a friend's birthday party we went to, right? So I went to it, bring my kids. My daughter was talking about it, she's excited. I get to the party and I started to be the minority. I said, I never thought that I, as a
And
black man,
DPS.
would be a minority at a DPS kids party. Like it was crazy. I was just so in like shock, like, wow. But then that also goes to the fact of eventually what's going to happen is whatever neighborhood that's close by a school, that's the neighborhood that goes to that school. which is going to start segregating a lot of different neighborhoods from
That's how it
certain
used to
schools.
be
That's how I use it, but we open it up to all, right?
to
For
everybody.
there
Yeah,
used to be this DPS. You can go to any school, you can get on the bus, go wherever you need to go. But now they're going to start really being those community districts. So the Woodbridge area is going to have their own school. You got to be from Woodbridge to go to the Woodbridge school.
you got
Whatever
to be
school,
from Woodbridge to go to Murray Wright to go to Pelham,
yeah, you got to
because
be
that's over
from
there.
Boston Edison to go to whatever school's over by Boston Edison. So
That's
that's
Loving
another.
Elementary. That's Sherrod, because I went to Loving. I'm North End kid. That's
Oh, so you,
well Flicks. Well, Flicks not over there no more. I think they moved.
I don't know. I can't keep up with all of them.
Yeah, Flicks was the foreign language academy school. That was
Okay.
DPS back in the day. But I remember maybe 2011, 2012. I tell this story all the time. I knew school was something about to happen. I don't know if you remember, this used to be the billboard that's on top of the Chase building by Wayne State on Warren and Woodward. And they
Oh
had
yeah.
a sign that said, "Welcome to the new DPS." And on this
Oh
sign, you remember
yeah.
that sign? It was a
Nothing one
Chinese.
where it's like if you go from kindergarten all the way to high school, they'll pay for like what 2 years of college or something like that.
Not
That side.
not that sign, but this sign was just images, and it had "Welcome to the new DPS." It was an Asian kid, it was a Chinese kid, it was no minority kids on there, and a white kid. It was 4 kids. They all had on their little suits. First of all, when DPS kids started wearing blazers, and when I seen that, I was like, "Well, I'll be John Brown." Don't nobody else see this? What you mean? Welcome to the new DPS? That means without us. Just like that sign they had downtown on one of those buildings, and it was like "Welcome to the
Great.
new downtown Detroit" or something like that. And it
Yeah, I
was
remember
they was in a restaurant, and it was no black people on this billboard at all. And Black Detroit was furious. They was like, "Y'all better change that, and we better not be the help." And they changed it, and we was not the help. But still, it's like
that. But see, I want you to keep it like that. Keep it like that. I want them
keep
to
it like what?
keep it like how they had it. Don't because my thing is I'd rather you be show me the devil up front. Don't come in those sheep cloth, right? So don't
Period.
like, oh, you changed it, but what is the ownership that we have in that?
And you changing
But
it just proved that we was right.
yeah, we was right, but it's like that's still okay. You changed the billboard, but still the end result's the end result. So I'd rather you keep it as white as you're gonna keep it, so that we are constantly reminded. Because one thing that happens is we tend to forget. A lot of people tend to forget oppression, gentrification until it's too late. So I
Yeah.
want it in my face at all times. I want everybody to see it, and then you make strategic moves to stop it. A billboard change ain't really doing nothing for Detroiters' pockets. Now let's really get into the nitty gritty. Let's get some of these city contracts. Let's start doing this community benefits that weren't that great for Black Detroiters. Let's talk about how to really build our infrastructure so we can stop what's happening. Because if we don't, like I was just in New York the other day in Brooklyn, and the stories I was hearing from people in Brooklyn was like, yo, they came in here with the Swift. They when they built that stadium, they said it was over. And one thing that I keep telling people, if you notice, we don't have a Detroit Pistons stadium yet. But please believe there's going to be a Pistons stadium. When
Oh,
they,
oh yeah, because they both playing at the same one.
they playing in the same building. Luckily, like their schedules don't collide, but still, like Pistons are gonna get a stadium.
They
And
used
that's
to have one. No, they both played at the Joe growing up too.
they're gonna trust me, they're gonna get a stadium. All right, I see it. On
But the
the
thing
east
is, I
side.
wonder where it's gonna be.
East.
Facts, because East where all the land at, or the only other place where land is like that is Brightmo.
Brightmore, yeah. I thought about that, but I think it's going to be east. And let me tell you why. There's a guy called Heinz. I think he has a company called Heinz Farm.
Oh, the Heinz Group.
The Heinz Group. Heinz Group is one of the largest landholders in the city of Detroit. He bought a whole bunch of land from the land banks for like pennies on the dollar.
Yep, in
And
Island View.
yep, and he put a whole bunch of trees up.
Yep, to
Right.
clean the
So
lead up out the soil because it takes
yep.
7 years to do it
And then
naturally.
his trees that are growing are, I think they're oak trees, which takes about 20 years for them to fully mature. And so if you think about the timeline of when he's going to cut these trees down, it's going to be after the bridge is built. It's going to be after the train station is built. It's going to be after the greenway is built. And if you look at his land that he owns on a map, it outlines a whole like a square, and it's right off of Jefferson between Detroit and Grosse Pointe.
Mm-hmm.
So if
He
I
owned
was a
most of Island
developer,
View.
yeah, if I was a developer and I was thinking about building a stadium, because our downtown is small, it's extremely small compared to other metropolitan cities. So I'm thinking that they're more than likely going to have to expand downtown, and it makes sense to go east because there's so much vacant land. So what
You know
makes
where
sense
it's
is
gonna be?
connecting the Detroit and Grosse Pointe, because you got all that money coming from Grosse Pointe. You might as well put a new stadium off of Jefferson, which is right. You can see the water from the stadium. Like, it makes
You can
perfect
walk
sense.
to the water.
You can walk to the water. It makes perfect sense. Belle Isle is right there.
You know
Like,
exactly where I think they're gonna put it at.
where's
So
that?
JNAP, that new plant, I live over there. So what's that damn street? It's probably gonna be between on McKellen and Kercheval to Jefferson, because you got to think it's houses over there, but it's sporadic on that side. And then you got a couple blocks from St. Jean that ain't nothing but land. That's probably where it's gonna go. Cause it's a
Uh,
school over there. It's a school. I don't know the name of the school, but it's on Kercheval and St. Jean, right behind the Chrysler plant. And then you
oh yeah,
got those 2 blocks across the street to where Heinz Group owned. They sold the Chrysler so they can do the runoff. Cause remember they fenced it all off and then dug a hole so all the water runoff from the plant can go there, and then put little trees and benches and shit over there.
yeah,
So that makes sense. That make a lot.
yeah.
And I got properties over there.
I seen it. I guess I look at a map and I can see it. Like, compared to other cities, our downtown is super small, super
That's
small.
actually perfect.
I don't
The
know
only
how.
thing is right by that'll be right by that water treatment plant. So I don't know if they want to do that, but they
I mean,
probably
the
gonna
opening of
build
the Greenway is right by the water treatment plant on this side, the town on the west side. So
things.
they don't care about that. I've already been in meetings with the city. They're talking about getting rid of a lot of the tire shops, or how to beautify the Warren Livernois area, because when you go to the Greenway, it's like ain't nothing over there. It's just tire
Yeah.
shops, abandoned buildings, vacant lots. They're like, look, we got to make this more attractive for people to come to the entrance. So they already know what to do to make it,
Yeah, I
more
went to
attractive.
one of the planning meetings. Like I think they about to start them back up because I follow them on Eventbrite and on
Hmm.
Instagram and stuff. So I'm gonna start back going to the meetings, taking my little notes and buying my little lots. Cause the area I'm buying in, they not starting building in 2027, so we got a little time.
That section of the Greenway.
Yeah, they not starting in 2027, and it's not 100% funded yet.
It's not 100% funded, which never mind. I'm not gonna speak on that.
Yeah, so you probably know the area I already talking about because it's on the east side.
I know the area and I know the funding about it
Yeah,
too.
so
So,
it's
yeah.
not funded yet, but
Mm.
I'm about to. So this tax auction, I'm buying lots specifically over there. Like I got a whole plan. Like I didn't renew my Ram. Everybody know I love Big Black. When my lease was up in August, I went and got one of my daddy cars, and that's why I'm driving that white Toyota Camry because I got a
They
plan,
last. You gotta
huh?
have a plan. I said they
Like I got
last,
a
and you
plan.
gotta have a plan.
Like I'm
But I
I'm
was,
downsizing tremendously. Like I had a big $1,500 office, and I'm like I'm only here 2-3 days out the month. So I was about to just not have an office at all. Cause when I first started, I ain't had no office.
yep,
But when I moved, I used to have an office at Cocoon on the boulevard. Then I moved down here in like 21. And I was like, I'm not here enough to keep paying this 1,500. I did the math. I done gave these people almost 60 grand over 3 years. It's like 55,000 and some change or something like that. Because my
yeah,
rent was 15.45 a month, and I was like, I'm not here enough. So I was about to get rid of it. He's like, well, do you want to just get a smaller office? So this smaller office is only like 650, and I was gonna just go to a desk, which is like 200, but I need 24-hour access. So I had to go to the smaller thing. Because with the desk, you only can come like Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and I don't do restrictions because I make my own schedule. But I do notice once I put this downtown address on my business stuff, all my business credit cards, they just shot up as far as the limits. I didn't even have to ask. I just like, damn, Chase gave me an extra $25,000 because I changed my address.
yeah. They go off of different demographics when they start rating your credit.
Well, yeah, I'm in the financial district. I'm in Venture
Financial.
X.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, let me keep my little address then.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah, I
tell
got a
people
plan.
just to be ready for 2020. I think it's going to be on Jam in 2026. I know they said 2027, but based off of some of my insights and ears in rooms, it's not fully funded yet, but it's coming. It's
Oh,
definitely
it's
coming.
coming. Like I've been watching the little map. I'm actually working on a whole course on how to invest on the Greenway, and I'm probably gonna charge like $1,000, and I'm gonna get paid because the research that it takes to really invest on this Greenway the right way, people are not gonna do
Hmm.
in the time. But I'm gonna do it. Y'all just gonna pay me, and we just gonna give you a little crash course. All
Most
right, so
definitely.
let's see if we got some questions. Salute from Memphis. Are they doing the same thing and they doing the same thing in Memphis? We just had some time to protect and build. Listen, every black or urban city that is surrounded by water or water is within walking distance. Walking distance, I'm gonna say 10 miles or less, is being gentrified or will be gentrified. Detroit, Chicago, Oakland, California. Need I go on?
Yeah, Oakland's
New
gone.
York got water
Um,
gentrified.
I just saw a because I'm always looking for grants, right? So I see all the grants all across the country, and another place that's being gentrified is St. Louis. Um, and they got grants right now for businesses, $70,000. It just closed for businesses to move to St. Louis, like small business. Not we ain't talking about multi-million dollar business. We talking like somebody with a LLC, small mom and pops, $1 million business, something like that, small $1 million business, which is what drives a lot of the gentrification too, is the small businesses. So when I saw that they were offering 70,000 to move your business headquarters to St. Louis, and it said you can be virtual too. It didn't even say you had to like have products. It said you can have a virtual office in St. Louis.
I opened me a construction office in St. Louis. Dang, what's that? A 7, 8 hour drive?
Something like that. I mean, but you said they say you can have a virtual office, so you only need to go there a couple times, maybe twice a month, if that,
That's what
for
I'm
70
saying. That's a
bands.
road trip.
Yeah, yeah. So all urban areas are being gentrified, like you said. And I think one of the main reasons too, like I said, is the cost of running the suburbs, but then also like the suburbs ain't fun. Like real, like low, they're just not. Especially like I've grown up in the city and I've grown up in the suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
For young, let's say millennials, because I feel like millennials are the ones that are really driving a lot of this gentrification.
That's
When I
us.
was when I was in yeah, when I was in school, high school with millennials, um, and they had never really interacted with a lot of black people. It was always this crazy curiosity about black people, about Detroit, about urban things. I knew kids that used to come to the city before the train station was even, remotely what it is now, and they would go in it and call it urban exploring. So there was
Mm-hmm.
like this whole fascination about the unknown, the big bad Detroit, the graffiti, the everything that we had going on that some people look down upon. You had a whole new generation that was coming up that was cool. That's when you see all these murals all over. That was
Cause
like
it's
the
art.
cool, the music, the people playing a saxophone on the corner. All those things were attractive. And if you try to have fun in the suburbs after 10 o'clock, everything was dead. It wasn't really anything going on.
We just getting
So
up at 10 o'clock.
yeah, it's like we just popping out. So you have this whole generation of people that are now kind of just so over the suburban, what I call ticky tack little boxes, homes in the suburbs. And now it's like they coming in droves because that's where it's going to be. I mean, I went to high school on Gross Eel, which is an
Oh wow,
island downriver, right? There's an
that says
island.
so much.
It says a lot. It's an island between Michigan and Canada, 30 minutes south of Detroit. So that's where I went to high school. And I was literally the only black teenager in my high school. Not one of two, not one of three. I was one of one.
I believe
And
I know that.
majority of the people who I graduated high school with all live, like I would say 30 to 40% of them either live in Detroit or have lived in Detroit since we've graduated. And none of them were allowed to drive to the cities when we were in high school.
Yeah, because it was
So
forbidden.
it was dangerous. They didn't want them. They didn't want their kids down there. But after we had that Super Bowl here in Detroit,
That was
it
what,
was
oh
on and popping.
04, 05, something like
That was
that.
like '04. I was
Yeah,
still in high school when we had it. So once we had that, even when I was driving down here, I was like, "Where are we at?" I was like, "This don't even look like." Because I'm from Detroit when we had the Hudson Building downtown with the wig shops at the bottom.
fact. Oh,
So
that's another thing. That building almost done.
it's gonna be done 2026.
Yeah, that's almost done. The Joe Louis building is done, and now they about to build something else next to it. I just read the other day. I got a post. They about to put a grocery store in there. Like I thought it's called the
Yeah.
Rose or something. I think a black lady running it, so that's good. But the rent they're like, hold on, I looked it up before. Let
You know
me
about
look
the
it
Joe
up
Louis
now.
apartment building?
Yeah, it's called Waterscape something.
Oh, that building, like
That boy is cold.
they threw that up so quick though. That's my thing. I went downtown one day. It was like ground level next year or next couple months. It was ridiculous.
They explain. I seen a video on how they built it. They built it from the top down, which was cool. So they built like the foundation and all that first, and then they went. I forgot what it's called. But it was kind of sweet.
Oh,
It's
Anthony on here
called
said,
Residence at Water Square. That's what it's called.
okay.
Hold on, I'm
You got
about
a
to.
comment on here. Anthony said he used to live in a neighborhood in Memphis, Fraser, which is where rapper Yo Gotti and Glorilla lived. Now it has a Nike and an Amazon distribution center, and it's growing now. Once you get that Nike, look, if you get a Starbucks, that's when you know. Starbucks and bike lanes and Nikes.
I'm gonna say Starbucks, bike lanes, Whole Foods.
Whole Foods.
That's how I
I'm
knew
saying
Wayne State area was
murals
gonna pop when they put that Whole Foods over there.
and murals. Anytime you see a whole bunch of murals, that's like the cheapest.
Green spaces.
Yeah, yeah,
Like this, and the thing is, the city has meetings that we don't attend where they tell you what we're going to do to your city in the next 10, 20 years. The people
yeah.
who are into development, they're there. Like the Detroit Future City meeting. I was there. You was there.
That's what I
Look at
tell
where we
people.
are
Like,
now.
you got to get into. You have to be involved in these conversations. You got to be involved in these plannings. You got to even change what is the definition of affordable housing. We really have to like really start breaking down these words and breaking down these meetings and being present, because if we are not present, then we can't dictate what happens. And like you said, like you were at the Detroit Future City Planning meeting. I wasn't at the meeting, but I knew about the book, and so I just got the book and do my own thing, because a lot of times I don't feel like being bothered with people, so
For
I just go
sure.
ahead and do my own research. But I'm always constantly researching and seeing the development. So it's like if you don't get in front of this ball of this housing crisis, like you gonna get hit. It's just a matter of time. Like so, it's like either
As
you
I
can get,
said, you regular tenants, you better be a homeowner. You're gonna be homeless.
or
Another
I'm not gonna
thing,
say you're gonna be homeless. I'm just gonna say you probably won't. The city will be too expensive for you to live in, and you'll have to probably move to the burbs. Like you
yeah, I
probably gonna be
noticed that
moving.
too.
You're gonna be moving to Taylor, Oak Park, Woodhaven. Um, OC is a little expensive unless you move into one of them affordable townhouse units in Rochester, Madison Heights. I can name all the border cities. You know,
Yeah,
maybe
you're gonna be, or you're gonna be
Roseville.
downriver.
You're gonna be downriver, yeah, for sure.
You're gonna be in Riverview,
Riverview, Melville.
Belvedere, right?
Yeah,
Brownstown.
yep. Because they got
Uh,
so much land, so they building and they like, look, come on, come on.
you know what else they doing in Detroit? They got a pilot program in Corktown for mobile homes. If this passes, which I think it will, it kind of makes sense because like I got family who live in mobile homes in the South, and some of these mobile homes sweet as hell. You don't even know they're mobile home.
I done seen some, manufactured homes that
Yeah, you don't see some nice. I'm talking about not manufactured. I'm talking manufactured, good old
you know
trailer
what
park.
yeah.
So I
Them
think they're
walls
gonna
be
do it.
thin though. Them
All
walls
this
be
land we got,
them walls be
they could do it.
they can. Yep, and it was it's a grant out right now, and this grant is for the development of manufactured homes. So, and then the rule with the manufacturer with the grant is once you start developing it, you can't sell it for more than like 225,000. So
Okay.
they already got a cap on it. So that's we'll
It's
see
a
what
mobile
happens.
home manufacturer who reached out to me out of Louisiana. Think I won't go down there and holler at them and let's work out a price and y'all get them up here and I'll drop them hoes all over the east side.
That part, it's a lot of land. You can do it.
Cause they even got mobile home duplexes now.
Yeah, I didn't seen more. I didn't seen like almost 4,000 square feet mobile homes, manufactured homes.
Right, upstairs, downstairs. Boy got a
Yep,
pool in the back. I'm like, this is living.
yep. Let a hard wind come through.
Well, Detroit, you kind of all right though. As long as it's enough of them to where it's like it's not just gaps in between. Like in the South, that's the issue. Is too much land in between the next house.
Yeah,
So you might be all right. But I'll get some and rent them boys out Section 8.
that part.
And then if I gotta fix any plumbing, all I gotta do is go on right up under the space. I ain't gotta do nothing. Fix it real quick and we back at it.
Easy plumbing to fix for sure.
Easy plumbing. They said Nike and Amazon is literally next door to each other. They are building apartments. And so speaking of building apartments, I've been telling people this. The state fairground is still a bunch of land over there waiting to be developed, and then everything behind the state fair on East State Fair from Woodward all the way to 75. They ain't nothing but land.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I would
Yeah,
buy over there if I was anybody and just sit on it. Even if the house, even with the greenway, I keep telling, I don't care if the house got the roof on the sidewalk. Buy it.
yeah,
You ain't gonna
most
pay
definitely.
much for it at that point. Go on and tear it down and just sit on that lot.
Yeah,
And if you got enough lots, fence it off, put up your no trespassing sign, put up some game cameras so you got some footage so can't nobody be dumping on your stuff.
yeah,
And just wait. It's way easier to maintain land than it is to maintain a vacant house. And the way the
yeah.
city is going to where they forcing us to hurry up and start rehab because now they on my head about my properties that's over in 48214 is coming.
And that's what and too what you were saying is like so right. And I always emphasize that on people who don't have a lot of money to maintain to buy a property, maintain it, and do the renovations. Or what I tell people to do is make sure you got a nice crew together, that you got good contractors, good plumbers, good electricians before you start doing this. Because right, because if you don't, you're gonna be, trust me, you're gonna pay twice or three times as much trying to fix what somebody messed up. So if you
Yeah,
can't
maybe
get
you got
that,
somebody that you listen to that know what they're talking about. You know how
yeah,
many clients come to me because what you just said, they done went to somebody to know what they was doing, not a land bank on their head or the city,
that
and
bank
now
on
they
that,
gotta hurry up and start.
yeah. So I'm like, don't even get into that yet. But what you can do to get into the game is buy some land. You
And
can
just
buy,
sit on it.
you can just buy some land, sit on it. There are even grants, especially if you talk about, hey, I'm a black urban farmer. I want to grow some tomatoes. I want to grow, because that's what a lot of the gentrifiers did. And some of the
So did. They
they
did that on
bought,
the north end.
yeah, and
It's a
they
lot
just
of
start, oh,
robots up there.
I'm gonna be an urban farmer, right? So they're able to tap into the land banks program for these lot programs and buy up an acre at a time, 5 lots at a time, and then throw a little garden on there. And then as soon as the market hits, boom, they're gonna flip it. So like right now, I have seven lots in Midwest Retirement. I'm about to get 4 more. This whole year, I'm doing until the end of the year, maybe the tax auction. Me and Asia gonna talk about that later on the
Offline.
offline conversation. But all I've been doing is buying lots, buying land. So for Creator Project, they 250. I've been getting land specifically in areas that's not hot yet, but that I know is getting ready to
Exactly.
get. So I get them first at the $250 Creator Project per lot. Then once I get the bulk of them that way, then I start getting the side lots for $100 because I already own the land, so that you can get the other lots. And then there's a grant from Detroit Black Farmer Land Fund, which helps black and brown people buy land to farm on. Last year they gave me 5,000, 50, no, 5,500 to buy land in the city. And then I'm just gonna grow some tomatoes on it, grow some jalapenos, keep it a real simple crop. You can
You
even
know
do
what
a
else you can
pollinator
do?
garden.
Plug into these schools, and then that's a good play to have
It
and
is.
teach the kids.
I don't feel
Like,
like I got a lot of kids myself. I don't feel
it
like
ain't
teaching
gotta
them.
be you. It ain't gotta be because if you get an agricultural grant or something like that to teach you, you could pay somebody to come in there and teach them,
Yeah.
or they
Yeah.
may volunteer.
They could, most definitely. But if your farming thing ain't really your thing and you just doing it, I would say, pollinator garden for bees, monarch butterflies, and a drought resistant crop, maybe some peppers, something
Hmm.
simple. And you can definitely grab up a lot of land that way. That's the play.
But if you put it in the right neighborhood, if you market it to the people in the neighborhood, they'll do your land for free. Like, all right, whatever you grow, you keep. Whatever you help me grow, you keep.
Yep. Yep.
That ain't a bad idea.
You can do it that way. The only thing that I see is I've seen a lot of people with urban farms. They get overwhelmed because it is a lot of work if you're not smart about your product. It's a business.
Right.
So, a lot of people get these lots and they may not have a water source, or they may not have the volunteers, or they try to grow 5 or 6 different crops, not knowing that, it's hard to get rid of those crops. So, you know, one year I grew
Hmm.
a bunch of beets, and I didn't know people didn't really like beets like that. So I had a ton of beets. I see Anthony said squash is easy to grow. It is super easy to grow. That was one of my first crops. And when I tell you I had so much squash at the end of the growing season, I will never in my life grow squash again because I had so much. And everybody was like, yeah, I'm good on the squash.
Yeah, you
And
gotta do like peppers, potatoes, white or
peppers,
sweet,
yeah, peppers,
spinach, cabbage.
potatoes, spinach, cabbage. Those were all easy. Greens were all
Yeah,
easy to give away and to
yeah,
sell
kale.
too. Yep, and you
Um,
can pickle or what they call candied jalapenos. You can candy those as well when
yeah,
like they have
cucumbers,
shelf. Yep,
stuff like that. Just think about the stuff that you typically buy from the grocery store. Grow that.
yep. But
Your
people
herbs
they
and
get
stuff.
excited. They start buying all these seeds. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna grow this. I ain't never seen this before. I'm gonna grow. I'd be like, look, this is not the purpose of you buying the land. Was to try to do all that. It was about securing some property and growing yourself a little food. Don't go all crazy with
They trying to feed the community.
it.
All right, we got a couple questions on the gram. Let me scroll up. So, mm, they said, "Dang, are you just volunteered him?" Yep. Can you talk about not having to pay property tax? Oh, so my video has got over 550,000 views on TikTok. I think Instagram it didn't do nowhere near that, but whatever. I'm gonna take it. So the video clip that's doing, I guess that's viral. I think viral is 1 million views, but to me, anything over 10,000, I'm viral. So in the video, I'm talking about how to get your property taxes waived. So I'm gonna pull up the screen. So the program is called the Hope Program. I actually went over this before, but y'all don't listen to me. But it's called the Hope Program. In the Hope Program, you do have income requirements. It has to be your main property, not an investment property. It's called the Homeowners Property Exemption, which is HOPE for short. So there is an application. It used to be every 2 years that you have to renew. Now it's once a year. And then you can just go online right here. Oh, can y'all even see this? Nope. There we go. Let me go back a screen. Here we go. Share this tab. So here we go. So they used, I think they still do this. They have meetings at different like community centers and stuff that helps you fill these out to make sure they good to go. They used to renew every 2 years. Now you got to renew every year. So that's fine. Just do it. Here are the income requirements or whatever. So for full exemption, which is 100%, up to partial, which is 10%. So you can get 10, 25, 50, 75, or 100% exemption. The deadline to apply, they moved the date up. It used to be like December 14th or something. It's November 1st by 4:30 p.m. So if you are, and this is for 2024 taxes to be waived. So you fill out the application, you can email it or mail it. I would do both. They have these different organizations that will help you fill it out. Here's all the contact information. You can call them and set up a meeting. Even if you got back taxes, they'll help you with back taxes. They have housing assistance, funding assistance, and income tax assistance. The Accountant Aid Society is a very dope program. When I first started my company, remember I was on a super fixed income. I was broke, and they do your taxes for free, personal and business. So I went to them for the first like 3-4 years before. I don't think I got a CPA till like 2018, and I started in 2010 because I was just going to them. It was free. But I ended up winning a grant through Any Ideas, and that paid for my CPA for the first 2 years and for my first truck. But here's the program, so it's pretty dope. They also got the water assistant program, like I was talking about earlier. That also pays up to $2,000 in plumbing repairs too, which I didn't know. I just read that today. And they got programs for senior citizens that have an income of $40,000 or less. But I will say this: it's a lot of help in the city for us. We are the problem. We
Well,
don't. I don't know why we don't feel stuff out.
I would say that's part of it, and then too, it's like if you don't know where to look, then it's hard for you to access these programs. And then so it's like you have to just keep really researching. You just got to really, really be invested in your progression. So, and then you got to ask questions. If you don't know, you got to remember a lot of these programs, they get grant dollars to do this. So their whole thing is if it's free, they're going to give you any information that you need. It's their job to do that. So if you don't understand, like they can walk you through the program. Another way that to limit your tax liability, but you got to be real careful on this. So I would say definitely get with somebody who understands property taxes, and also get with somebody that understands the nonprofit game. Is if you are creating affordable homes and you're doing it for low income people, you can create a nonprofit and put your house in that nonprofit. And nonprofits don't pay property taxes.
Okay.
So it's like you just got to know what the strategy that you're trying to move. But I run a nonprofit. I know people that run nonprofits. Our house, the houses that we have in our nonprofit name does not pay property taxes ever, as long as we are in line with what our social mission is. So no, that doesn't mean go ahead and put your house in a nonprofit name. That means if you are doing affordable housing and you structure it in a way that is providing relief to the community, a nonprofit don't mean you don't make money. It just
Right.
means that you're not supposed to make like your whole goal with this isn't trying to be like $1 billion company, but the largest nonprofit in the United States is United Way, and they annual income is $350 million a year. So, hospitals are nonprofits. They
Yep.
well, not as many as they used to be, but a lot of hospitals started out as nonprofits. Colleges are nonprofits, so they all make money.
Facts. Do you all have any info on development in the Potowski Otsego area? I think that's like Davidson and all that still.
I think so.
I think that's still over there.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Um,
say the whole city is being gentrified, but of course everything is in its phases. So when I went to the Future City meeting in '08, the original plan, which is still kind of happening, is everything from 94 coming downtown is going to be gentrified. And if you look at it, it's kind of happening. And then everything on the outskirts of the city, everything that borders the suburbs is going to be gentrified. So that's Brightmo. I'm gonna keep screaming Brightmo till y'all listen. They had a development meeting the other day, but I didn't go because this one was strictly about the parks, about bringing parks back to the neighborhood. But I'm just gonna go online and watch it later. But yeah, I think the Potowski neighborhood. I really don't care where the house is in the trade. I'm gonna say buy because the wave is coming. I mean, it really is. It's just, can you afford to wait it out? That's really the end game, and that's how a lot of people mess up because they don't. They buy a house and think that's it, but you still got to pay them property taxes. You still got to keep the house secured. Still got to pay insurance. That's why I'm screen buy land because land, you the taxes on land compared to taxes on the house ain't nowhere near the same. And then you just got to keep the grass cut. So hold on, I pulled this up, share this tab. So here is the Potowski neighborhood. Yeah, that's still over there. So that's Dexter to Oakman, Livernois, Grand River, Joy Road. That's Russell Woods though. Oh, what happened to Ross? He must have lost his signal. I don't know what happened to Ross, y'all. He must have lost his signal. I guess he come back in a minute. Oh, he back.
Yeah, I know what
Welcome
happened.
back.
Thank you.
I'm like, wait a minute, he's gone.
Yeah, but the Petoskey area, trying to think. I'm looking at it right now on the map. I don't know too much that's going on in that area.
Yeah, I got to pull it up in this screen. But according to this area, they saying it's Dexter to Oakman to Livernois to Grand River to Joy Road. I would buy over there all day
I would, yeah.
because the Greenway coming through there.
Yeah, and then you got Grand River, which is a good street to be close to.
So they said 138 rehabs going on over there. It's one school, no parks as of yet. They got a block club. Them block clubs used to be lit growing up. This would be
And
so
a good
fun.
way to do development too is if you already live in that area, is to start a block club. Block clubs get a lot of attention from city council and from the mayor. So it's easier to get a lot more work done if you had a block club. The area that is over by Midwest Tireman area, by the start of the Greenway, how they were able to protect a lot of their homes and get a lot of input was based on them having a block club and based off of the block clubs really putting pressure on city council to listen to their voices. They do have one of the oldest block clubs in the city, but them elders really don't play. And they,
Listen,
every time I show my face, they like, it's good to see a young person in here. So they'll plug you with who you need to talk to, and they'll make sure that they listen to you. So if you in that area, talk to your neighbors, start a block club. It can be 3 houses on one side of the street. They can start a block. Y'all can start a block club together.
I'm gonna
Very
also
easy.
say, being that I got a lot of elders in my family, do stuff elders do. Go to bingo night. Go to the block club meeting. Keep your grass cut. That's a conversation right there. Plant some flowers. That's another conversation. They're gonna come talk to you and give you some advice on growing your stuff.
Yeah. And you never know who you know in the city too, especially if they've been around for a while. So
Thanks.
yeah.
All right, what other question we got? When you gut your houses, where do you put all the toxic materials? In the dumpster. You put them in garbage bags that are what's the 6 poly mil thick. I think that's the middle, and you got a tag and a gooseneck it, and then I put it in the trash. But you do technically have to let the company know that you get your dumpsters from what you are putting in there, so they can go properly dispose of it. Now, once you do that, if they don't do that, that's not on you. But I always send mine via email, so I got it in writing, so they can't say they wasn't aware. But typically, they know if you gut in the house because they gonna ask you sometimes, what are you putting in our dumpsters? They know like where to do, where to take it, and stuff like that. They make sure they spray it down. We spray it down, because that minimize your dust when it's wet, stuff like that. What's the next question? That's the area I'm curious about. Dexter and West. Yeah, I keep trying to talk my friends into doing that. Oh, they talking about the living together. I seen another video that went viral. I don't remember if they was black or white or whatever, but they had all this land and everybody built houses on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's how it used to be back in the day. So Schools will be the last thing. Facts. It's coming though. And then this draft is probably gonna be. They gonna have to have some other major event here after this draft. I don't know if the baseball All Star or whatever they final game has ever been here, or yeah, probably the All Star game or anything like that. But they might have the Super Bowl here again.
Came close this year.
Next year is gonna be in New Orleans if the Lions go. I'm going. That's one of my favorite cities next to Detroit.
Mhm.
I love y'all spirit. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Exactly what he said. I don't know that part on because when we do inquire, then people act like they don't be knowing what we talking about. Thank you for going back over the details. Oh, they talking about the water program. Oh wow, for real? So they said when they asked the people about it, they act like they don't know what they talking about.
Start asking for managers, emails, numbers, and start bugging them. I've recently got a contract with the city. They was trying to play me for the longest. So I made sure that I got whoever I was talking to, supervisor, their supervisor, and I started tagging, CCing everybody in emails. Because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, they don't want too much light shined on them. So if you have any problems with that, make sure you start sending emails, CCing people, and if you're working with a community organization, make sure you let them know that you're working with a community advocacy organization or whoever is advocating for water. I know Hydrate Detroit is a nonprofit, small nonprofit in the city of Detroit that's been helping people with water for 10 plus years now, like doing demonstrations, all type of suing the city. So
Mm-hmm.
check them, Hydrate Detroit, and they can walk you through the whole process.
Stanford University is nonprofit. The NFL is a nonprofit.
Yeah.
What meetings in the city would you all recommend we get familiar with? Anything for
So
me is anything surrounding development, real estate, housing, infrastructure, anything along those lines.
yeah.
What you saying?
So I would say whatever district you're in, you want to make sure you go to your city council's district meetings. You want to sign up for their email because they will also let you know different bids, different developments that they have approved. Um, yeah, like you said, anything towards development, you would sign up for. Even if you just got a separate email to kind of sign up for all those notifications, so you can see what's happening and you can kind of decide what meeting benefits you. Definitely go to that. Anything that is, I try to go to all of them, or I try
Me
to send
too.
somebody to go to them and bring the information back. But one of the best decisions I made was getting connections in my city council's office. They let me know everything that's going on. A good relationship with them. So trying to make a connection inside the city of Detroit's government is where you want to be at. Because if you go downtown in the middle of the day, I'm telling you, you're gonna see a bunch of people where you can tell they are not from Detroit. Some of them look like and then you talk to them for a quick second. Oh yeah, I'm from California, or listen to their conversation. Go into Wayne County's tax assessor office, and you'll meet some people that are not from Detroit. So just really just be out here and networking and kind of just being in the room is where you should be.
But be in a room, and I'm gonna think you need to know you got to offer something too. Don't just be a sponge taking on everything and don't get nothing. I don't like that.
I mean, it depends on where I'm taking. If I'm taking from the city, I'm gonna take everything
Well,
from the
yeah,
city.
that's
If
different.
it's like other developers and other people like me who trying to figure it out, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna offer something. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
definitely
that's. I think that's different now. When it's them, the hell with them. I'm with you on that. Hell, you pay taxes. That's your
yeah,
reparations.
exactly. I got a saying that it's okay to use people, but it's not okay to misuse people.
Misuse.
Yeah, we all using somebody for something.
They
The
said Stanford is valued at $36.5 billion, and they're a nonprofit.
yeah.
All right. Can you talk about your mentorship program? Yeah, I will at the end. Thanks for answering my question. You're welcome. I love that. We call that compound living. Their website to find parts of the city to development, cityofdetroit.gov. Everything is on their website. Y'all just gotta pay attention, or I guess know what to type in. But the Joe Louis Greenway has an entire YouTube channel that I'm subscribed to. Cause of me, they're probably at 100 and something subscribers now. When I signed up, it was like maybe 25, which is sad. They have a whole website dedicated, and they show everything that we need to know is out there. We just got to take the time to do it. You have to use exact words with them, even though you're defining what you're talking about. Oh, you're talking about when you call about the programs, right? That's why when I call, I say, yeah, I'm looking on your website at www.blah blah blah / blah blah blah, and it says, and then I also screenshot stuff or do a print screen, because you're not about to play me and go back and delete something later. Because on this day, this what was on there. Let me see. Girl, sometimes in certain seasons, all you can do is be a sponge till you're in position. Now, yeah, that's true. But I'm just gonna say, be honest with people. Like, people DM me all the time asking about volunteering and stuff, but I don't feel like I had nothing for them to volunteer for yet. Now, when I have events and stuff, yeah, you can come to that. But I do free stuff in the city. Like, I do my give back now. Whoever show up, show up. Whoever listen, listen. If you don't take this free information, we give you so much free information to where if you don't do something with it, that's your fault.
That part.
Just even doing these What Up Though Friday sessions, like me and you and all the other, like, I got 3 years worth of lives on how to invest in Detroit. If you don't go back and watch that stuff and take notes and get to it, people DM me all the time like, AJ, thank you for posting this. I was able to do this. I bought my first house. I bought my first property at the tax auction. Especially when I first got on social media, people to this day still be like, AJ, thank you. Because they bought their houses back then for $6,000 and $7,000, and now it's worth 130. Because back then they wasn't all messed up. You know, our cousins ain't went in there and tore them up yet. Let me see. I need help finding a house. That's easy. All right, let me see. Oh, somebody said, what is a block club? Is it similar to a HOA?
So a block club is a pretty much it's an association, right? So it's an association of neighbors that are pretty much getting together to advocate for their neighborhood. So a block club can be a couple of blocks. It could be one street. It could be one side of the street. It can be however you define the borders of your block club. Um, that's kind of what it can be. It just kind of all has to be in a very similar geographical area. Like, it can be the same zip code. But that's what a block club is. And your block club can be a nonprofit. It just has to be a different type. So it's not a 501c3. It's a different type of association. That's like a whole nother conversation on like different nonprofit levels. And I see somebody said, any chance of a chip fab being built in Detroit? More than likely, I think
I think
so,
so.
because we have so many commercial or built abandoned factories and stuff like that. So it would just make sense for Detroit to be a chip fabrication area. And it was just a grant that we applied for between $250,000 to $2.5 million. And one of the strategic areas was in chip manufacturing. So I'm sure that somebody else, because I didn't apply for
Oh, you
that.
talking about the one for me?
Yeah.
What?
Yep. So one of the areas that they were looking in was chip manufacturing. So I'm sure somebody applied for it in chip manufacturing, especially
You
because
know
we
what
got a
I really
whole.
want to bring to the city, and I think it might be a grant for this. I want to bring a modular home plant here.
Yeah. Look, I tell people this all the time. There is a grant for everything. There's a grant.
Bros,
It's all about how you move the letters and words around.
facts. But yeah, when we have our offline conversation, whenever I don't know when you want to have this, we can do it on Zoom or whatever. But I or FaceTime because you do got an iPhone. Um,
So,
I do want to do a modular home thing because the way I'm looking at it, modular homes, the only thing that really make modular homes expensive is the distance that it has to travel to get here. The closest plant to us is Indiana. That ain't far, but it ain't down the street.
Right.
If we could bring one in the city, oh my God, that's hella jobs that's gonna be created. I mean, hella. That's at least, I'm gonna say at least 50 people will be employed minimum, and
We
we
can put
got
it
the
together.
land to where to build it at.
Mm-hmm. Definitely put something together.
And then the land bank or the city, that's a guarantee. I think that's at least a 10-year guaranteed contract that I would have with HUD or whoever to drop them boys all over the city. And I'm a GC too. That's like 4 checks I'm gonna get, bro. Cause the way some of these rehabs cost in Detroit, you might as well build.
You might as well build a new house for
You
real.
might as well. Like that firehouse
Might
I
as
posted,
well.
that was a 400 some $1,000 rehab.
That's wild. You might as well
I
build a
mean,
whole new house.
but they a homeowner, so I get it. Because if they would have tore, this was in Rosedale Park, so if you tear that house down and build a new, you're going to pay more than that. Because of where is it? If you was to buy directly from a builder, you're going to pay more than for something. But the way some of these rehab $200,000 and $300,000 costs because they old and been sitting there so long, you could tear it down for 30 and rebuild it for 250. And the only thing is you ain't gonna get as good a brick deal, I guess maybe the structure itself. Because our old houses is solid, so I kind of see that side too. But you
They
do might as
definitely
well
are.
build. I definitely think you might as well build with some of these. You all are definitely helpful because you don't have to give the info that you give, what you do, and we appreciate you anytime. You can appreciate us with a cash app donation. Is there a grant for citizens that are not low income to fix up their homes? I would think so.
It
Oh, that's
depends,
low
right?
income.
So yeah, no, it would depend. So if you in the city of Detroit right now, um, there is a grant for lead abatement. So, and that's mostly every single house in Detroit has lead in it.
Yeah, that's
So,
home construction. Yeah,
yep. So the one of the requirements for that is you have to be in certain zip codes. And then also, let me see if I got it. Yep, I'll put it in the
yeah. I was googling it too, but yeah, you
yeah.
can go ahead and put it in there. You probably got it already on your computer.
Yep. So I put it in the PR chat. You probably have to put it on your Instagram chat. But for that one, you have to be in certain zip codes, and then also you have to have a young child who lives in a home, and then you have to get a lead test for them. But other than that, it's pretty, there is no income requirements on that one. So
I'm going out. You back?
I'm back. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you had went out for a second.
Oh, okay, my fault.
All good. But you were saying?
I was saying that the requirements aren't that strenuous on that grant.
I just googled one. I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll put it in the chat if you want to copy that one and put it in the Instagram. That's an actual link to the application for it.
All right. I wonder if it's the same one because it just say Michigan.
So there's a Michigan one and there's a Detroit one. The one I put in the chat is for Detroit.
Why won't let me copy and paste? StreamYard. It won't let me copy and paste from here, but it's in the comments, so that's it. I had to go back and get it
Okay.
probably when it's over. What up, though, to you? Um, mentoring program. Yeah, I'll probably do a separate live for that because this one already is a lot of information. But what else you got? So we've been on here almost 2 hours.
That's all I got for today.
I know, right? I'm gonna put this one in the comments too. This one about Michigan. Well, I appreciate you, Mr. Ross Harris, for coming on here and talking to
Of,
my audience. I definitely appreciate you. I guess
of
text me and let me
course.
know what day you wanna talk offline. We can come meet up here at this office that I pay for that I don't be at.
I'm like, you might as well since you be paying for it.
I know, right? But I'm I don't like people for real, so I like this office better than my bigger one because I'm really like off in the cut. And then I'm right by the conference rooms too, so sometimes they be open. So when I start filming for this podcast next month, I'm just gonna film in there.
I feel it. I like it. Resourceful.
Mm-hmm. But I was like,
Well,
that's
thank you.
cool.
Thank you for having me. Hopefully we can do this again. I would love to come back and talk more about grants.
For sure.
Yep.
Oh, don't forget to send me your business contact info so I can post it on Instagram and on like do you got a business flyer that I could post?
I do. I do.
Yeah, I could post it on the gram and tag you, and then I could put it on YouTube, and then send me your actual info, and I'll put it on the description.
I got you.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Ross Harris, for tuning in,
No problem. Peace, y'all.
educating my folks on this beautiful city. We got to do another one on how the city messed over Detroit, but that's gonna be a good one because a lot of people don't
Talking
talk
about from
about
the
that
bank?
side.
You talking about from the bankruptcy?
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's a whole
how,
yeah.
and how
People
they
don't know how deep
overtaxed
it goes.
us and all that.
People don't know how deep it is. Like this whole
Oh, it's
gentrification we talking about now, all started way back.
way back. That's why
Way
I be kind of in the middle because I see both sides because it is messed up what the city did, but at the same time, when them houses was dirt cheap, we should have bought them because they wouldn't tow up then.
But you know what the crazy game is?
And I feel like we kind of gave the city away too.
It wasn't the city, it was the banks. That was who really did it. It was Wall Street.
Facts.
It was a whole big plan. It was
I
crazy.
believe it. Well, text me what day you want to come back on here. We can do an impromptu Saturday or whatever day.
All right, most definitely.
Or when I do my podcast, maybe we say that for the podcast.
Whatever. Hey, it's your world, you know.
Just a squirrel.
Just out here.
I'm just a squirrel. For sure. Well, thanks again. Yeah, just text me your info and I'll post it on here. When you want to have our meeting.
I got you. Most
All right.
definitely. All right,
I'm gonna
peace.
say my salutations, and then I'm gonna end this live. But you're welcome to stay on here till I click the end button. That's on you.
Nope, I'm about to go get a sandwich.
I might do that too.
All right, peace.
All right, thank you. All right, y'all. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. This was really dope. I can't wait to clip this up and post some of the clips from this. This was pretty cool. I hope y'all learned something. Thank y'all who sent the Cash App donations, and I got a couple Apple Pays too and Zales. So appreciate y'all for that. Thank you for tuning in. And let me see. I was trying to share my screen with something else. Share this tab. There we go. Add to stage. There we go. But yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. I definitely appreciate y'all. I have some people on here from Memphis. Detroit on here always. Detroit definitely be rocking with me. Y'all be supporting me. I love y'all for that. I think I'm about to go on and end this. So the next What Up Though Fridays, we actually had 3 this month. Yesterday we tried to do the lenders, but he had technical difficulties. So the next one is gonna be the 23rd because my boy he couldn't do the actual 19th, which is the one we normally do on third Fridays. But that one gonna be on eviction laws and squatter rights and squatter laws. I try to do that one every year because the laws change so much here in Detroit, and then with all this squatter stuff going on across the country, I figured that'd be a good one to do again. So I'll see y'all then on the 23rd at 7 o'clock with my boy Ponce Clay. Thank you again, Mr. Ross, for tuning in. Thank y'all for Instagram and everybody tuning in, and I appreciate y'all. Again, church announcements, Detroit Real Estate Weekend, August 1st to August 4th here in Detroit. VIP tickets are $2,500 and includes your hotel stay, food, a tour of the city, a tour of a container home, tour of a tiny home community, and the workshop itself. If you just want to come to the workshop, you don't want to do no VIP at all. Those tickets are $497. And if you just want to do the VIP no hotel, I think them like $1,500. So thank y'all for tuning in. See y'all next time. Be safe. Deuces.